Well, what's up, Glory Gang?
Yo.
Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Boys podcast.
Let's go.
I'm one of your hosts, Darren.
And I'm your other host, Austin.
Today, we're going to be talking to our friend Chris from Moonshine Gaming. But before we get into it, let's roll that intro.
Let's go. All right, Chris, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's an honor to have you.
Right on. Happy to be here.
Yeah. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty good. Had a pretty busy day, actually.
Yeah.
But that's just the life of running your own business. I'm sure you guys know all about that.
For sure.
What do you mean? You're busy when you run a business? I thought it was like vacations and sipping margaritas on the beach.
Yeah.
Didn't you guys just get back from a little trip?
A few of them.
A few work
Yeah.
trips. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were all short trips, but we went to Denver, LA, and Alabama in back-to-back weeks, which was fun.
Nice.
But
Right on.
yeah, so cool, man. Well, what does that entail? I would love to hear more about what you do.
What do I do on a typical day?
Yeah.
Okay, so this morning I try and get up by like 8 or 9, but sometimes if I get caught up with like editing, I'll go till like 4 or 5 in the morning. So I don't always get up at 9, but today I got up at 9. I shoot my first TikTok, which is a happy birthday TikTok. So I pretty much talk about a game that was released on that day. And then I go into packing up all my stuff that I have to ship for my eBay store, because I also run an eBay store, which is like 80% games and then like 20% collectibles. So I have to go to the storage unit, pick up all my stuff that's sold the night before, come back, pack it all up. And then the place that I ship opens at noon. So by the time I pack everything up, go ship, come back, list until 3. I'm normally back by 12:30. So 12:30 to 3, I'm listing more inventory for my store. And then at 3 o'clock, I do my TikTok and Reel for the day, which is my responding to a comment of somebody asking for a retro game, show a little bit of gameplay as well as some facts on the game. And then by 4 o'clock, I'm streaming on TikTok and Twitch for 3 to 4 hours. And then my day is basically done at that point.
So break this down for me and and for our listeners that aren't familiar with you and your page. I've watched a few of your videos. I'm not as familiar as Darren. So you're a full-time eBay seller and content creator. Is that right?
Correct. My 90% of my income is from the eBay store. But
Okay.
I'm trying to build up the social media platforms and get to a point where it can almost be 50-50.
Yeah. Man, how do you make a full-time living on eBay? That's crazy to me.
It's actually it's not even that hard. But the thing that you need to like realize is that you want to get really good at one niche. So you get really good at one thing and then you start branching out. So I've always flipped video games. I used to be a full-time DJ for 12 years, and then COVID kind of destroyed that.
Yeah.
And then I went full-time into my side gig, which was flipping video games on eBay. But what they say is you want to get really good at one niche, and then, you can go and source inventory knowing a lot about one thing, and then you slowly branch out and, learn more about other products.
I love that. So
awesome.
yeah, I guess right before we dive into like the meat of the episode, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, how did you get into gaming? How did you get into switching from working a 9 to 5 to being like, man, I'm going to sell stuff on eBay?
Yeah, for sure. I actually have never really worked a 9 to 5.
Okay.
Firstly, I grew up just east of Toronto, about an hour east of Toronto, very heavily involved in sports, went to school to actually become a carpenter, got my diploma as an industrial woodworker and as in-home reno tech. But on top of the doing that, I was DJing. I've always been interested in DJing since I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
So I DJ'd to pay my way through school, and then I got offered a gig downtown Toronto, and that's kind of when I went full-time. So I left school, went downtown Toronto, DJ'd full-time for 10 years.
Wow.
And then I was flipping games on the side the whole time that I was DJing. I've always been a game collector ever since I was like 10 years old. I actually remember the moment that got me into collecting. Me and my mom, we would always go to yard sales and thrift stores. And this is before that was like a cool thing to do.
Right.
Yeah.
'Cause I know that's become like,
good old days.
Since that Macklemore song,
Yep.
it kind of just became more mainstream. But like
Yeah.
back in the day, nobody was doing that. And you could find crazy deals at yard sales and thrift stores.
Yeah, the good old days.
But we went to this yard sale and I found an original NES with like 30 games. And I took it home and was playing them. And then I was like, oh, I should look a couple of these prices up on eBay. And I looked them up and like some of the games were, selling for like $40, $50. And at 10 years old, you're like, wow, that's like a lot of money.
How much did you pay for the NES and 30 games?
You don't want to know.
It was less than $50. I think it was like $30 or $40.
Dang. That's so
here,
awesome.
I'll actually, I have one of the games that I have right here.
Let's see it. Let's go.
So many games.
I love it. Dude, I want to go and just touch them all.
If you're watching on YouTube right now, which if you're not, you're missing out. But if you're watching on YouTube right now, check out the wall of games behind this guy. It's crazy.
So this was like the more expensive one of that lot. It's called North and South.
Okay.
I don't know the current market value right now, but I feel like it's like 70 or 80. But at the time, it was like 30 or 40, and I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Dude, that's so cool.
It's awesome. So how old are you? I feel like that's a pretty important question with gaming to define.
I was born in 91, so I'm 30.
Okay. Nice.
That's a good age to be.
Yeah, that's kind of like the golden age,
Yeah,
I feel like.
I just turned 32 this year, so we're about in the same gaming era.
Yep. Did you grow up with a Super Nintendo or
I had an NES when I was 5. I remember playing Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario 3 when I was 5, and then like beating it when I was like 6 or 7 with my dad. And then I did grow up heavily playing the SNES like right when I was, I think I got a used one for Christmas. Like we grew up pretty poor, so I didn't get like the new cool systems. It was always like the hand-me-downs or I found this at the thrift store. And the SNES was like, it's probably one of my, across the board gaming wise, like one of my favorite consoles for sure.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It is my favorite console, actually, of all time. Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, I missed out on early Nintendo consoles. I feel like
how old are you?
I'm 20. I just turned 28. So like PS2 was like the first console of my childhood.
But he played a lot of Game Boy SP and
I mean Pokemon, like played Pokemon Yellow and all the way. I only played until Ruby and Sapphire, but played a few like Nintendo games, but I was more of a PC gamer and MMORPGs. Yeah, I was one of those guys. Now I play Fortnite, so so much better.
Yeah. You play Fortnite?
I was really into Fortnite at one point when it first came out, actually, but I kind of fell off. I stopped playing when all the crazy stuff started happening in the game.
Yeah. It's the only game my wife will play with me, so I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. But
that's awesome.
It's awesome.
So Chris, how many games like do you own currently, or how you have walls of games from Wii to GameCube to you showcase your huge collection all the time on your TikTok and Reels on IG. How many do you think you have if you know the ballpark?
Yeah, I actually have an app that tracks everything.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and then it's called Game Eye is what I use. Okay. There is a few of them. That's just the one that I use. But it allows you to track all your games, and then it also keeps up with current market value. So it takes the average sold listings on eBay, Amazon, a few other selling platforms, and it takes the average and it actually gives you like a price point on all your games. So you can have all your games in one place and also have the value of it all.
That's sweet.
That's crazy.
Will it go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, will it like tell you if the value of something that you have like increases, or like if a game suddenly gets a ton of popularity and skyrockets in price, like will it tell you that kind of stuff?
I don't think it would like notify you.
Got it.
But you could definitely like go on and look. I know Price Charting, which is like the website that everybody kind of uses. They have a section on their website that, you can click games that have gone up the most in price in the past 30 days. But I don't think the app that I use has that.
Got it. So sorry, I interrupted you. What's your number?
It's 6,000 games physical.
Dang, that's sick. How many do you have for like? What's the system that you have the most games for?
Probably PS2, just because the library is like so extensive.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Yep.
And I think I have 800 or 1,000, 8 or 900 maybe.
Wow. So that's crazy. Does the app like, if you were to like say complete the PS2 library collection, like does it keep track of that or let you know what games you don't have? Or
yeah,
that's cool.
You can go to there's a section that you can basically click on each platform, and then it'll list off all the games that you own like on that platform
Dang.
and give you an evaluation of the price as well.
Wow. Dude, that's so cool.
That's crazy. Have you played every single one of those 6,000 games?
People ask me that all the time, and definitely not.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah, because if you buy like a game lot, like I'm even guilty of this, like you buy the game lot for the 4 or 5 games you really want out of it, and then the other 8, you're like, I mean, I have FIFA 06, like 4 copies, like, you know, Madden 09, but you're like, I'm probably not going to play those unless somebody comes over and wants to, you know, bump in a weird old football game. But I'm not a big sports game guy anyway. But yeah, I definitely have games that I have sat in my collection that I've never played.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and my kind of rule of thumb is, if I don't own the game, I'll keep it, even when I'm like getting stuff for my store.
Yeah.
And I buy what you said, which is kind of like the way that you have to collect these days. And even like within the past 10 years, you have to buy in bulk and then sell off everything you don't want to make up the cost of buying that lot.
Totally.
Right? But yeah, there's a lot that I haven't played.
Yeah.
Are there duplicates, or is that 6,000 unique titles?
That's 6,000 unique.
Holy
all my
cow.
Dude, that is so crazy.
all my duplicates are on the store, actually.
Wow. That's incredible. So you just take the best condition one that you have? Like if you got one that was in better condition than one that you had, would you swap it out and sell the lesser condition one, or?
Condition doesn't really matter too much to me as long as I'm able to play the game.
Sure.
I kind of like how it if there's like stickers or it's like beat up, that kind of is like a story, right?
Sure, it's like a
the
pate
game
on
tells
leather.
a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the time, actually, as long as the label's like readable, I'll sell the better condition ones so I can make a little bit more money.
That makes sense.
That does make sense. I noticed on your N64 games, you have like the sticker that's across the top. How do you do that?
Yeah, so those stickers you can actually get on Etsy.
Okay.
They were actually really good. They were really good for me when I was trying to complete that set because when you buy the stickers, it gives you all the games.
Oh, sure.
And then and I was going for the complete North American set. So, you know, you could look at the sticker page and see what games you didn't have. So I would like bring that to conventions when I was going for that full set.
You just pull it out as like your little like Pokedex.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So do you like travel? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say I wasn't using the app at the time, so I was using that as a resource.
Got
like
it.
the sticker page. And you can get them for like $20, like a whole set of them for $20.
Well,
That's
it's cool
crazy.
because you can have them stacked up like that and you can literally see the title instead of pulling them all out and flipping through all of them.
It always confused me why Nintendo decided not to put end labels on the N64 games because they did it for NES and Super Nintendo.
Right.
It's kind of weird that they wouldn't have continued to do that.
Doesn't make much sense. Whatever.
So do you bring your collections like to conventions? You mentioned you're at a convention. Like, will you like? What does that look like? Do you go travel around and like meet people and connect, or?
Yeah. So I have never had a table at a convention. I normally just go to look for stuff.
Yeah.
But there's actually a huge one coming up this Sunday. Like I want to say it's definitely the biggest in Ontario as far as retro conventions. It's called the Barrie Game Exchange. And it's massive. This year there's like 200 vendors. Wow. I remember I think they used to do it in like a hockey arena. So it would be like inside the hockey rink, you know, without the ice, obviously.
Sure.
But then it got so big that now they're renting out like a huge event space this year. And the guy I was actually live on Facebook, the guy who runs it, and he said if you were to line up all the vendors, it would be longer than 3 football fields.
Dang. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's really cool. I would love to go to one of those.
So right now I'm actively hunting for Super Nintendo games because I'm going for the complete North American set of Super Nintendo games.
Yep.
That's kind of like my next collecting goal.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going to be looking for on the weekend.
So what sets have you completed at this point?
Only 2.
Got it.
N64 and Wii U.
Wow. You need to step up your game, man. You don't have enough games.
No.
The Wii U.
It's tough.
Wii U.
Wii U was really good to collect for, actually, personally. Because the games weren't too expensive. And the library, if you're like a completionist who's going for full sets, the library isn't that big on the Wii U, and the prices aren't too crazy. They're starting to go up now, but like 2 years ago, it was like you get everything for dirt cheap.
Yeah. It's awesome.
So since you have an app to kind of keep track of all of your games and all of that, do you have any idea over the years, like how much you've actually spent or how much you have invested into your game collection?
I could probably estimate.
Sure.
It probably would be, I want to say between like 15 and 20,000 invested.
That's not bad.
That's really not bad at all.
No.
That's like 20 years of collecting.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah, and all of it wasn't like hype beast prices that people are flipping. You actually probably got some deals earlier on when you were younger and like,
Yeah.
Accumulated as systems over, growing up.
Yeah. The prices didn't used to be that bad,
Right.
Like I said, when that Macklemore song came out, it was like the turning point. I swear.
I know.
It was so weird because I was in college at that time. I think I was second or third year, and I was working at McDonald's as well. I was DJing and working at McDonald's when I was in college.
Got it.
But there was a thrift store on my walk to McDonald's, and I would always stop there and look for games. And I remember right after that thrift shop came out by Macklemore, I swear the amount of people in the store every time I went in had like tripled or quadrupled.
Yeah.
So it just became like he made it like a mainstream thing. I think he was a lot to do with that.
Oh, for sure. Freaking Macklemore ruining
Darn you, Macklemore. Who needs you?
So before that, prices were like, it was so easy to get games. Then between that and do you know anything about like WADA? Which is like it's like the company that grades video games.
Oh, sure.
So they came out a couple years ago, and then in between when Macklemore put that song out and then WADA started doing their thing, it was like you could still find deals, but it was like, still kind of hard. Mm-hmm. And now it's like next to impossible.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah,
especially with COVID too.
Yeah. Yeah, we went through like a Pokemon hunting phase last year, and we went to so many. I mean, I feel like it's kind of the same thing with any collectible really, and shoes and all this different stuff. But we went to so many Walgreens, and I mean, we went to a lot of thrift stores too, and like you can't even find it. I've still never been to a store in Omaha that like actually has video games at a thrift store.
Yeah.
And you find stuff every once in a while.
Yeah, we have a Goodwill Bites or Good Bites or whatever it's called. It's like their, I don't know if you guys have those, but they have the electronic store, and they only have like one in all of Nebraska. And the Goodwills never have gaming anymore because what the employees do, and you probably know this by now, but the employees,
I have a guy.
Yeah, so they have to sift them out and put them into this Good Bites, or they go into their eBay Shop Goodwill store. And I hate it because you can't go out and get the thrill of finding a game for a good price. And I get so frustrated because I grew up thrifting with my mom like every single weekend. And so for me, it's almost like a comfort place, or I need to go clear my mind. I throw my AirPods in and go walk and just thrift. But you never get that fun little like, oh, I discovered something at, after 20 different thrift stores. And so it's almost not even exciting, or the excitement of the thrifting world is definitely lost its glimmer for me, I guess.
Yeah, I hear that, especially with the prices going up too.
Mm-hmm. I will say though, I did get the best deal I ever got was I got Super Smash Brothers for 64. I guess I'll just ask you, how much do you think I paid for it back in the day?
Back in the day?
Yeah.
How long ago?
8 years ago.
8 years ago? I think market value at that time was probably like $40.
I got it for 50 cents at a Goodwill.
Wow. Back when they priced things under $1. Right?
Yeah, so they were like, oh, I think all games are about 50 cents. And I literally like almost had a heart attack. And the lady pulled it out and I paid 50 cents for it. And I think that was the last like exciting thing that ever happened at a thrift store. And RIP for the rest. But I have that to show for it. So that was cool.
That's awesome. I've heard some crazy stories of people finding, like, I never had any like insane scores at a thrift store back in the day, but like I know some people who have gotten some insane stuff back in the day. Not recently, but over 5 years ago.
Sure. That's awesome.
Do you mind if I ask what like you would value your current collection at?
The games alone, because the app only tracks the games, so it doesn't track like the consoles.
Sure.
So the games are like 140,000 Canadian.
Sick.
The consoles are probably another 10.
Wow.
Not a bad investment.
Peripherals and like toys is probably another 10 or 15. So
Wow.
155,000, I guess, or 165,000.
Dang.
That's sick.
It's pretty good return on a $15,000 to $20,000 investment.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you don't do anything with it, it'll probably just keep growing.
Seriously.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got the systems are only getting older. Like, what, the PS3 is about to be 20 years old or something like that? Or not? No. Wait, is that right?
What?
It came out in 2007.
10, 15? I don't know. I think
No,
I saw like,
old.
It was 07, I'm pretty sure.
oh.
Or no.
Well, I guess
Anyways, I don't know.
it's almost, it just feels like it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, 100%.
And now it's like, we're in like PS 27.
Yeah. I did find a PS3 at a garage sale for $10 though with the controller. So
Yeah,
that was,
last year.
there you go.
that was
Yeah,
pretty
last year we
sick.
did.
Yeah. But
That's a good deal.
yeah.
Yeah, $10. I mean, you can.
I feel like YouTube has kind of made it tough for people to hunt too. Because
Oh.
people, all the retro game hunters are like telling people how to do it,
Yeah.
and then people see them doing it, and then they go out and do it as well.
Yep.
I don't know. It's just the way that current things are with social media and everybody being on display, and
Yep.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I follow a couple guys that I watch. I just get so mad. They go to these, swap meets or whatever, those huge, long, like 40-mile thrift store, like outdoor things. And they got their tents and tables and they're picking up all kinds of crazy stuff, just filling up IKEA bags full of cartridges and controllers. And I'm like, how? Like, how do you do this? I've never seen this ever in my life. How do you get this content?
I feel like if you're in kind of a smaller area, like, and you're the only guy who collects games, like, you're laughing.
Oh, for sure.
For sure.
Like, I'm in the GTA, right? I'm in Toronto. So this is like a reseller hub over here. There's resellers everywhere. That's why it's so hard to find games where I am.
Yeah.
There's just so much competition.
For sure. Yeah, I guess there's just like a couple more questions that we'd love to chat about. One of them being, so yeah, I guess like, what is your favorite system? I know that's a really big question because maybe there's different seasons that you like to play certain ones, but I know you said the SNES is probably your favorite. And if that is true, you can elaborate a little bit. And then what's your favorite game, or what's a favorite game on that system and why?
Yep, for sure. So definitely the Super Nintendo is my favorite system by a landslide. I think part of the reason why I collect, and I'm sure this is the same for most people as far as collecting things, retro things, it's just for the nostalgia, right?
Yep.
So the Super Nintendo was the first system I ever owned. First system I was ever gifted. First video game thing I was ever gifted or had an experience with. So yeah, I got the Super Nintendo for Christmas. It would have been in like, I want to say like 94, 95. So I would have been like 3 or 4 years old.
Wow.
Dang.
And I got it with Super Mario World, Donkey Kong Country, Stunt Race FX, if you guys know what game that is, Super Adventure Island, and Super Mario All-Stars.
Sick. That's a great set to start with.
Yeah.
Wow. Just bangers right out the gate.
Oh, yeah. And one of those is actually, to answer your second question, is my favorite game of all time. And it is Donkey Kong Country 1.
Dude,
Wow.
let's go. That's probably my second favorite because I'm a huge Mario guy through and through. So Super Mario World is probably my favorite game of all time. But Donkey Kong Country is second for sure.
It's funny that you say that because I used to have an internal debate about the two of those. It was a two-way tie for the longest time.
Yeah.
Between Super Mario World and Donkey Kong Country.
Yep.
And I just started speedrunning Donkey Kong Country. Actually, that's what I'm like doing on stream now. I'm speedrunning it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think realizing how I still love the game after completing it like over 100 times
Yep.
has made that, a little bit above Super Mario World.
Sure. Yeah, it's kind of fun because you as you play it more and more, I'm sure you know all the little secrets and things that are within the game. And that I just played Donkey Kong Country. I beat like 30 or 40% of it the other day just for fun. Like I just sat down and just banged through a lot of it. And I was like, oh, I remember that, this barrel takes me here and this secret is in this spot, or, in the cave with the tracks and the cart, you can jump over the beginning of the level to like bypass the whole level essentially. And people are like, this is such a hard level. But you just get so used to, it's like muscle memory. You know exactly where to jump, when to jump. But yeah, I love that game so much. It's such a fun one.
Yeah. And to reiterate on another, like some other reasons why I like it is the soundtrack is just incredible. Like what they were able to pull off with that game as far as the graphics and the music for that time is like an actual miracle.
Yeah. Yeah, the water levels, like with that song and just how like
aquatic ambience is what it's called.
It's beautiful. I love it.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but this is great.
You guys play Fortnite?
Yes.
You guys play Fortnite?
You play Fortnite?
We play Fortnite.
That's awesome. That kind of leads me to another question. What's your most expensive game that you own? Like, do you have sealed product or sealed games? And if so, which ones are those? And then I guess as far as in your collection that you actually have and own, what's the most expensive game?
Yeah, so the most expensive game is actually right here.
Just chilling in the background, just flexing.
It's called Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, and it's the holy grail of the N64 set. And the reason why it's so expensive is because it was something that's called a Blockbuster exclusive. So what that is you couldn't buy the game in retail stores. The only way you could actually buy it is Blockbuster would get copies of, there's a few games on the N64 that did this, but Blockbuster would get these games, they would rent them out, and the only way to buy it is after they were done renting them out.
Got it.
You could buy it used from Blockbuster.
Wow. That's crazy.
So that's like there's another game on the N64 called Clay Fighter 63 and a third. And that's like basically that on steroids. There's like some new characters and like new music, new moves and stuff. But yeah, it was a Blockbuster exclusive, and it's worth right now, I think, around $1,400.
Wow. Dang.
Just the cartridge by itself.
That's crazy. Not even complete.
Yeah.
Wow.
Complete. It's insane. It's like, I don't even know. It's like over 10 grand.
Sure. Wow. That's crazy. Yeah. I've never played that game. I mean, probably because I'll never see it in my lifetime.
Well, you might have played the other Clay Fighter one, the one that it's based on.
Sure. I never owned it, that's for sure. But if my buddy had a lot of N64 games when I grew up, and we played all kinds of games that I probably don't even remember. But I was a big Tony Hawk guy too.
Oh, I love Tony Hawk. Actually, on my story, or my Instagram story, I did a poll on the people's favorite Tony Hawk game.
Oh, sick.
What was your guys' favorite? See if you were in line with everyone else.
So I was Tony Hawk 2 through and through because you could manual, and the school was way better, and I just liked it a lot better. So when the remaster just came out, we literally just bought it. He never had played it his whole life. And so we were out in Alabama, and we went to Target like late night, and we brought our Switches on the plane, as you do. And so we went and picked it up, and we played the remaster, and I freaking love it. I think it's so awesome. Just because it's just like, better version of what it is. But Tony Hawk 2 for sure was my favorite. Does that align?
It does.
Yeah.
It was actually like so the four that were on the poll, which are unanimously the four that are like the ones that people like the most.
Sure.
Are 1, 2, 3, and Underground.
Okay.
And it was basically a two-way tie between Underground and 2.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, Underground is my next favorite, but I had gotten it later in life, so a PS2 came after, and so I definitely got Underground and felt obsessed with it. So.
Mm-hmm. Really good game. Great music in all the Tony Hawk games too.
So that's the thing. Like the funny part about 64 was they could only put like a third of the song for like storage purposes, which makes sense. But it was like you would get in love with these songs, but only hear the chorus and the first verse and the chorus. So like anytime you heard it later in life, you're like, oh, I love this song, but then you didn't know any of the rest of it. Like, oh, the bridge, this is like this. This is crazy.
Yeah.
And then
definitely.
PS2 would have the whole song, so that was cool.
That I got the Tony Hawk 1 and 2 remaster, and wow, that's one of the only games on PS4 that I platinumed.
Wow.
I played a lot of that game.
That's sick. So you played it on PS4?
Yeah.
Nice. It's probably amazing on PS4.
The 1 and 2 remaster? Oh yeah, you played it on Switch, right?
Yeah, which I mean it's still
It looks
cool.
great, yeah.
It looks
I
pretty
mean,
great.
Yeah.
From what you've seen, you understand like graphics and things.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
I mean,
oh, the more pixelated it is, the better.
Right.
The better.
The more nostalgia.
The more nostalgia, the
Yeah.
crappier graphics.
Yeah. There you go.
What do you play Fortnite on? What console?
I'm on an Xbox One X right now, but
Xbox
like
One
I
X.
said, it's not really my thing. I grew up playing super OG PC games, original Diablo 1 and 2, Fallout 1 and 2, like
World of Warcraft?
I never
StarCraft?
played World of Warcraft. I played Guild Wars for
Yeah.
7 years, and that's the game I put the most time into for sure. That and Call of Duty, big Call of Duty guy. So I really kind of played just those two games growing up because they were games that I could put thousands of hours into over the course of a summer and be able to just
Yeah.
play the same game. So yeah, it's a little different. I wish that I had explored a little bit more, to be honest, because there's so many games out there that I've never really
I'm teaching
gotten
you.
a chance to experience.
I'm teaching you.
Yeah. But I got to experience Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, which was great.
And Halo for the first time ever.
Yep.
What? First
Yeah.
time ever?
I
You
like
have an
Halo.
Xbox?
Yeah, it's my first Xbox. I've always been a PlayStation guy my whole life.
But you... Oh, okay. So, yeah, okay. That makes sense then.
So now I got to bring him back to like Halo 1, Halo 2 days. And
Well,
like,
'cause
Gotta
when-
get him that... Go ahead.
What's that? Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say you got to get him that Master Chief collection.
yeah.
Yes, I actually do have it, and I tried going back, and it's not the same because it's not nostalgic for me, because I didn't play it as a kid.
Dang.
But I mean, going back and playing COD 4 is super nostalgic.
Sure.
So it's just, it's interesting. It's a different
Yeah.
generation of
Like you
gamer
didn't-
for sure.
You never grew up playing like System Link, 16 people, Sidewinder for like 4.5 hours.
Nope. But I did do like 8-man COD bunkers where we would all bring our PS3s over to one guy's house and
LAN party.
yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude.
So fun.
Those were the
But,
days. Mountain Dew,
yeah.
pizza, and
Yep.
just System Link.
Yep.
When I was younger, I was none of my friends played video games. I was the only one who did. All my because I played high level sports, so I was hanging out with all the jocks, right? None of those guys really played video games.
Right.
One of
Sure.
them did.
Right.
One of them was really good at Halo, actually, and he was a poker player.
Oh, nice.
He was like the one guy that I hung out with that actually played video games.
Right.
It's funny
When I
because
was
I feel like
younger.
that's changed drastically in the last 5 years. It's like cool now to play video games. So all the jocks, I feel like, do now like football players and like playing Fortnite kind of go hand in hand, whereas they didn't 5 years ago or 8 years ago or 10 years ago. But
Yeah.
so where do you see like the future of retro gaming? I mean, it's obviously like rapidly changing. People are catching on to it like never before. People are starting to collect like never before. Where do you see that going as you continue to build a channel revolving around it, a business revolving around it? What do you see for the future of retro gaming, I guess?
That's a tough question to answer because over the past 2 years with COVID, it's obviously that inflated, the interest with retro gaming because everybody was stuck at home and trying to relive their past. I don't think it's going to go down though. I think it's going to continue to stay either where it is or people are going to become more interested.
Yeah.
The thing about as far as collecting is the prices the prices and interest start to go up 2 generations prior to what it is, because those people who were playing the games 2 generations prior are old enough to have disposable income,
Yeah.
right? So like PS3 and 360 is now probably within the next 2 or 3 years is going to go like this,
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I said. We got to finish our PS3 collection and just start dumping into that because we're trying to get every system in our office, or I am because I just want
Sick.
to. And so we've been slowly adding to that, but I never bought anything after the PlayStation 2. And so we found that 3 at the garage sale last year, and I was like, I'm going to be on the hunt. I think I heard someone on YouTube actually talk about, hey, PS2 is about coming around to its anniversary, a big anniversary, and the guys that, 2 generations ago are going to start dabbling back and buying those PS3 games. So he's like, now is the best time to buy it. Because I didn't really have one, but there's tons of great games on it. And so I definitely will be looking out for those.
Yeah, PS3 and 360 are really good to collect for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Affordable. They're like one of the only affordable consoles. If you can't really call it retro, but
sure, right. Sure. Buy games for like normal price, like $10 instead of $65.
Right.
Even original Xbox isn't too bad, which
is
surprising to me, because PS2 prices are starting or have skyrocketed.
Yep.
But the original Xbox prices didn't really go up that much.
Which we actually don't know
why that is.
We don't have one of those, and I do need to get one.
Or a 360.
So we'll just be on the lookout, I guess.
Yeah.
Or if you got any lying around on your shop, we'll have to check it out.
I got a couple 360s actually.
Nice. Heck yeah.
You got to be careful with the original Xboxes though, because one of the main problems is the disc trays. The disc trays like ran on with like a little elastic band. That's how it opened. Like the elastic band would spin around these two little things, and then the disc tray would open. And like 70% of them are like broken. So the disc trays will be jammed. So if you buy one, if you're like out looking for one, make sure you test that, because that's like the main thing that breaks.
Is it something where you can pull pull out that piece and replace the band, or is it just like not even worth it?
Yeah, you can do that. It's just really finicky.
Sure. Yeah, I don't like to do.
You have to like if you don't want to, because you can open them up, right? But then you have to poke through there's like a seal on the bottom that like authenticates that you haven't opened it up. And there is a way to change that elastic, but the disc tray has to be open, and you have to like get in there with like pliers. It's freaking hard.
Dang.
I've replaced 2 of them.
Wow.
And I don't ever want to do it again.
It's not worth it.
No.
Dang. Well, maybe I won't get one now.
Well, no, just check it before.
Yeah, totally.
Like, plug it in.
Yeah. No, for sure. Or it has a... because they had Red Ring of Death then.
On the 360. I don't know if they did. Did they on Gen 1?
Yeah, they did on the Gen 1 too, didn't they?
360 was the main red ring, but there was issues with the Xbox.
Or maybe it was like it was like an orange ring. I remember my buddies like wouldn't read discs anymore, and it would do that. It's really sad.
Yeah, I don't know.
R.I.P.
Yeah, the 360 was the one with like the main red ring.
Yep.
Those first gen Xbox 360s are garbage.
Yeah.
So something I feel like nobody ever talks about, to completely change subject here for a second, but so now these games that are 15 plus years old are going back up. They're going up in price. They'll be worth more and more as time goes on, as they get older and older. But is there anyone like out there buying sealed new stuff and just keeping it sealed, knowing that in 30 years it'll be worth something? Because I mean, I think all the time of like, if you had an original sealed copy of any old Nintendo system game, it's going to be worth thousands if it's a popular title. Is that a thing? I'm just curious.
Yeah, there is people that do that, but that's playing. I wouldn't personally not do that. That's kind of playing with fire for me.
Sure.
But because of people realizing that, those sealed games back in the day are worth money, because there's so many people doing it now, they're like, everyone's trying to make this investment and, make a $10,000-$20,000. But because there's so many people doing it, there's going to be so many more people with sealed copies,
right?
Making them not as rare as
sure. And I'm sure they print a lot more, or not print, but I'm sure they make a lot more copies now than they did back then.
Yeah, there is
just
some
more
like
gamers and
indie developers will put out limited run stuff, and there's also a few companies. One of them's called Limited Run. Have you ever heard of these guys? So they'll actually put out physical copies, and they'll limit it to a certain amount of copies released, and it's not very many. So a lot of people, I think those will maintain their value or go up, because there's only like 3 or 4,000 every time they do a print.
Got it.
So those are kind of the ones that I would say, if you're going to be one of those people who's buying sealed games for current gen stuff, that's the kind of stuff that I would go for.
Sure.
Or, it's stuff by indie developers where they're not releasing too many copies. Yeah. But like mainstream stuff, like, like how Super Mario, the original Super Mario Brothers sealed, like think of how many were actually made of those back in the day.
Oh, for sure. Yep.
Like the current gen stuff, like there's going to be so many sealed first party,
right,
huge titles. Like I don't think they're going to get up to the price of
Yeah, I mean,
Super
like
Mario
even
Bros.
like this game, like sealed, probably goes, I don't know, for, I don't know, 10, 20 grand. Like you see people grade them, like, but this game came with like every NES most of the time. It came with Duck Hunt and like, so some of those games, like you said, like the more printed titles that there's hundreds of thousands, or I don't know how many they would had made, but I feel like, yeah, it's a little bit more of a easier chance to find that sealed. I see
Just
on,
to
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just to clarify on what you just said there, the price of that as a sealed game,
Yeah.
it would have to, for that price, it would have to be graded.
Sure.
And then there's also like variations, so it would need to be like a first printing. So
Okay.
it's like a lot of
Got it.
the misconception is, somebody thinks, oh, I have a sealed Super Mario Bros. 3.
Yep.
I have $10,000, but it's
Right.
actually, it's not the first printing. It hasn't been sent away to get graded. So that's kind of like a lot of people who don't really know this industry that well will
Yeah.
have that misconception that, every sealed Nintendo game is worth $1 billion.
Totally.
Whereas there's actually a little bit more to it than
I think
most people
that
might
happened, or we saw that happen with Pokemon.
100%.
People,
Yep.
they pull out their collections, and we've been hit up because we did a big YouTube series. We spent a bunch of money and did a lot of, we were bored during COVID, and really, honestly, it was like a thing for him and I to escape, the world and just, go and jump on YouTube and open up packs. And so we were discovering a lot of our friends had Pokemon cards. So they're like, yo, I found my binder. And we're like, yo, that's sick. Let's like take a peek. And we'd open it up and, we'd look through it. And then a couple like hollows. They're like, played or kind of played and pretty beat up stuff. Nothing crazy, but everyone thought like, and I got hit up the other day by my buddy. He's like, bro, I found my Pokemon cards. I hit the jackpot. And he's like sending me photos. And there's some cool cards in there. But like, again, none of them are mint and none of them would be PSA 10 for sure. And it's just interesting. Yeah, people here, the people like the Logan Pauls of the world get into Pokemon. The whole world blows up with Pokemon, freaks out. They go to their grandma's basement, pull their cards out and think they can buy a house and a car, which in some cases you actually can. But
Hate those people.
Yeah.
the people that pull open their storage units and just find sealed packs for days, it's like, man, that's a really crazy thing. But good clickbait, I guess, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found 700 packs, first edition. Like,
Yeah. Every week on the
yeah.
on
It's
their
like, how do
channels.
you
Yeah.
always find this? Do you like pay investigators to like go out into the world? And
It's crazy.
it
I
is
swear
crazy.
some of those guys who get the storage units plant cool stuff.
For
in
sure.
there.
Yeah, it's
For
super, super unfortunate.
Has to be.
Well, yeah, you don't just bump into a $800,000 gold mine, for fun, just walking
Yep.
down the street. So
Right.
I guess if you're that big on YouTube, you might get reached out to, but even then, who would want to, I don't know.
Yeah.
I you know how I said I go to my storage unit because all my inventory's at the storage unit.
Yeah.
I'm friends with like the lady who works there, and she was telling me a couple months back they sold because they sell off the units if they're not paid. It's
Yep.
like Storage Wars,
Yeah, yeah.
Storage Wars style, right?
Yeah. I love that
but
show.
She was saying they sold a unit a few months ago, and there was like, something in the back that was like covered by a blanket, and like a couple chairs and like some furniture or whatever, and somebody bought it for like $100, and she was watching when he was going through it, and he pulled the blanket off, and it was a freaking Harley.
No.
What?
What?
they didn't just do that beforehand. Like
You can't.
Let me.
No,
Yeah,
when they
you're
sell
not
it, they
allowed.
don't let you.
That's
You just buy it blind.
weird.
Yeah, the rules are that
You'd think they would
aren't
do it.
allowed to touch it. They
Weird.
can't go in there or anything.
You would think they would at least be able to sift through it before they sell it off to like see
Yeah.
if they could make money off of anything else.
I think it's against the law because
Huh.
technically until it's auctioned off, it's
It's
still
not.
the property
Got
of the person
it.
who
Yes.
is paying the rent.
Whoa. I want a homie that works at a storage lot.
Well, that's the thing. I used to be big into Storage Wars like 5 years ago. I watched every episode and I was like, this is really cool. I would love like someday to get into that. So have you ever been a part of, acquiring storage units? And can you just
have.
share a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So when I source inventory, I do it either like one of like four ways. I'll either go to thrift stores. I'll either check locally on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji, auctions and estate sales or yard sales. Those are kind of like the four main things.
Sure.
And there was a listing for some PS2 stuff or something on Facebook Marketplace, and I reached out to the guy. He said, "Yeah, come meet me at this address. It's the U-Haul storage unit place, which is like right around the corner for me." So I drove there and I started chatting with this guy, and he flips storage units for a living.
Wow.
So he let me he basically let me private pick all of his units, because the way he does it is he has 4 big storage units. Then he'll go and buy other storage units, bring it back to the U-Haul lot, basically dump everything on the ground, like in front of his units. He'll have a garbage truck that he'll chuck all the garbage in.
Yep.
And then everything that's worth money, he'll like kind of list on the fly on Facebook Marketplace, just like take a picture and list it quick.
Yeah.
And then it'll go into his units.
Wow.
So I became friends with this guy. His name's Willie.
It's a good friend.
And he asked me, "Hey, do you want to come with me on a Saturday when I buy 3 units?" He basically, so here's how it worked. He wanted the free labor, and I wanted the first pick.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a win-win for both of us. I'll help you load everything up if you let me buy everything that I want.
Yeah.
So I went with him, and I did 3 units with him one day. And I got some crazy stuff, actually. It's not up there. I got like a complete in-box Funtastic N64, one of the colored N64s.
Sick.
Dang.
You know, the light blue one?
Yeah.
You may have seen it, but yeah, we found one of those, like complete in-box with some games, and that was like the big thing that I got from that day.
That's amazing.
Dang. That's cool.
But
That'd be
crazy.
fun.
What did he, so you purchased these things, or did you kind of do a trade?
I bought them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do you mind me asking what you paid for the N64 complete in box?
It wasn't much. It was like $30.
Oh man.
30 or $40, I
think.
think. Yeah.
Dude, that's the stuff that keeps the fuel in the tank though, right?
Oh yeah. I'm sad because he actually moved.
You should move
So I
with
would
him.
go. He went like way out west. I think he's in like Vancouver or something.
Oh, dang. It's quite a change.
But yeah, I think he had a kid and ex-wife that was out there, and that's why he moved back out there.
Got it.
But I helped him that one day, and then I would go by his units once every 3 weeks and just pick out a box worth of stuff. He was a good contact to have.
That's cool.
Too bad that
Sounds
he
like
left.
it.
Dang.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've always like hoped to kind of run into those, but yeah, it's I don't know. I just never been lucky enough, I guess, to find somebody that just kind of is in that business. But I drive past units all the time. My in-laws, my wife's parents, they own a storage unit kind of area. It's like 45 units or something. It's pretty small and fairly cheap to rent. And I actually use one of them. I have some stuff there. And he'll find stuff every now and then, or, he'll acquire a unit because somebody, didn't pay. And so he's found like cool baseball cards and stuff like that. But I'm like, if you ever find any game stuff, like hook your brother up because I'm your guy. But that's so far, nothing. I think they did have it. No, they did find an Xbox 360 once, I think, complete in box.
And you didn't even take it?
Well, he I think listed it. He was like, I'm going to try to make a little money on it. And I was like, yeah, but I'm pretty sure it was sealed. And I was like, this would be pretty sick. It came with a game. But again, at the time, I was an Xbox 360 guy, and I didn't really care to complete like the entire game system of having each one kind of every year until like fairly recently. And so I don't know, maybe they still have it. Maybe I'll have to ask.
That'd be pretty sick.
I think it came with like, was that the system that came with like the Kinect?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it had like
so that was even more
the
expensive.
Kinect with it or something. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And I'm gonna ask my mother-in-law. I'm gonna call her after this.
Did it come with Call of Duty?
Like, yo, ma-in-law, you got that game still?
About that 360.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Well, Chris, as we kind of wrap up here, this has been a lot of fun just chatting with you about games. Is there anything else that you want to share? Definitely tell us where we can find you on social media. All of our followers, everyone listening, definitely go check Chris's page out. But yeah, anything that you'd leave us with? You
want me to just drop my socials or?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, and if you have any like words of wisdom of just like people encouragement.
Okay, here's one. If you're into retro collecting, I found one of the most important things is make sure that every single freaking person knows that you collect retro games, because you couldn't imagine the amount of, if people know that you're into that and they find stuff, like they'll either sell it to you or just give it to you.
Yeah.
And just by, letting people know, and people know me, I'm now the video game guy, and that's what you want to be.
Heck yeah.
To all the people that right?
Yep.
So
great advice.
They'll give you stuff or sell you stuff, and I can't even tell you the amount of stuff I've just got from people that I know just because they know that I'm that guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Great advice.
That's amazing. Well, where can we find you?
Yep. So on Instagram, I'm just Moonshine Gaming. TikTok, I'm Moonshine Gaming 88. YouTube, I'm Moonshine Gaming. And Twitch, I'm Moonshine Gaming 88.
Sweet.
Nice.
And you Twitch stream every day?
Monday to Friday, normally at 4 o'clock. Unless
Nice.
something is going on like today, I won't be doing it. Today, I'll just be going live on TikTok probably.
Sure. Awesome, man. Well, yeah, we'll definitely have to check out some of your live streams and keep crushing the content game. Keep putting out awesome stuff. I love seeing your videos. And
Awesome,
again,
bro.
Thanks so much for being on the podcast. It was a joy to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's my first podcast, and it was definitely a positive experience. Thanks so much for having me.
That's good to hear.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate you.
All right.
See ya.
See ya.